Welcome back to What She Said Sports. Happy Friday. Technically, in the city of Atlanta, it's Friday. I know it's Thursday everywhere else, but in this city, which I need y'all to understand, Atlanta is a what? Yes, it's the capital of the state of Georgia. Yes. A lot of big corporations here. Yes. It is also what? That most people don't identify Atlanta as. Yes, we have the Braves. Yes, we have the United Soccer. Yes, we have WNBA, the Dream. Yes, we have the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, yes, yes. We also have Atlanta Phoenix because I keep getting stories sent to me by them. Shout out. It seems to be women's football. So shout out to the Atlanta Phoenix. Keep sending me the post. Thank you. You got my attention. Atlanta's a college town. So on Thursdays, especially as we get closer to 5 o'clock, and especially when it's beautiful like today, I've already been outside, and so has everybody else. So it feels like Friday. We call it Happy Friday. Juneteenth is amongst us, and Atlanta's Juneteenth festival is taking place at Piedmont Park. I posted it in my stories. Go check it out if you'll be in the city. A lot of people generally come from the surrounding areas, the different states that you can get to within 2 hours from Atlanta. So yeah, it's on around here. This is a college town. So it's already Friday. So welcome back to the midday huddle with What She Said Sports. I am Professor What She Said Sports. So breaking news. There was some cuts made by the Cleveland Browns today. A little birdie in the comments told me, and I went and looked. Thank you. Identify yourself. Because you made me look, and I looked, and guess what? Some people got cut, but it was not anybody that we know, which is good, which feels like after yesterday's stellar performance that people didn't want to talk about early this morning. So we did. Our guy is making the roster. Remember, that was a if he'll make the roster. So we have moved past that, and we're in the phase of, are y'all going to let him play in the regular season? There's a still, podcasters are still talking about Shedeur dominated. He's, a lock to be first if they give him a fair chance. That's the talking point. If they give him a fair chance. So that's what people are responding to, trying to basically analyze why they would not give him a fair chance. And what has this podcast maintained since day one? This is not about Coach Prime. This is not about Shedeur. This is not about needing an agent. It's not about jury. He's not entitled. And he is good. He's a baller. He's elite. He's advanced. He's an elite QB1. He's not a fifth round developmental QB. Check, check, check all the boxes. We talked about that. So drop it in the chat. I just want to make sure everybody on the same page. What have we maintained that this is about? If you don't agree, feel free not to drop it. But if you see it now, if you see what I have been saying that I have posted on the thumbnail, drop it in the chat. You know what it is. All right. So let's talk about who got cut. All right. So I have two different stories here. Of course, I went to AI and was like, hey, what's up? I heard there was some cuts with the Browns. What can you tell me? All right. So apparently, a long snapper got cut. They did sign a wide receiver, though. They got another wide receiver, a 6-time Pro Bowler or somebody close. But just like, in my opinion, like seemingly random people, right? I don't know if any of Shedeur new friends got cut. And I don't know his new friends, so I'd have to look and see who he was hanging out with and figure out if any of them got cut, just to see, just want to keep it on the up and up. So I'm getting ready to share my screen. I put a fun photo in here that has been in my queue since the draft. And y'all know I typically like to have something good to talk about because it gets a little heavy sometimes. That's just where we are, but the workaround for that is what? We're going to have fun with it. All right. So 1 second. And it's coming right. Let me turn on my monitor. All right. I wish the picture was bigger, but let me know if y'all can see it. That is, hold on 1 second. That is what? The family or some part of the family. But it is the newest addition to the family that I like to post every now and then because it's so sticky cute. Snow. I don't know his last name. I don't think it's Sanders, but it's Snow, right? And we all know who Snow is on a first name basis. He don't even need a last name. And you see that's Miss Pilar, Shiloh, Snow, and Shalimar. Got nice photos of her too, because she doing her thing down there. She is living her best HBCU life. I am very proud of her, going off on her own and doing what she wanted to do. Because when you're her age and you go to an HBCU like Jackson State, it's not a surprise she went back to an HBCU. So I'm proud of Shalimar for that. But y'all can see Shiloh with Snow. And then I saw another picture of Shedeur holding Snow. So I just like to see, the family with the baby because, he got his own playground now. And somebody say Shiloh Snow trust fund is going to Snow. That Snow is dipping into his trust fund. I'm like, well, he the oldest son. Well, how is he dipping into Shiloh's? But maybe they just anxious to give Shiloh trust fund to Snow. He'll probably do it himself. But y'all can see Snow growing up around them. I love it. I love it. I love it. So of course I had to share it. So hopefully y'all can see it in the comments. Let's see. So hopefully y'all can see it in the comments and see it and let me know what y'all think in the comments. Okay, I'm looking for my own podcast and don't see it. Maybe that's not a good sign. Here we go. All right. So that was the first one. So let me go and shift over to the next photo. Let's see what we got. All right. So this was our thumbnail from earlier where we talked about, we checked off the boxes, pre-camp workouts, rookie mini camp, OTAs, day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is today. So we know that after this, the guys might be free because Milroe posted, y'all know, friends of Jalen Milroe. I follow Milroe. He in the NFL now. So he one of the quarterbacks we follow. And Milroe posted, I'll be back in Alabama for the summer. And he has the host of football camps that he's hosting. So I didn't see Shedeur go live on Twitch when I went to the coffee shop because that's generally where it happens. So, they might be finishing up OTAs and, he might be getting ready to head out back to Dallas. Or maybe he going to stay in Cleveland or I don't know. But this might be the time that they get a little vacation in before the mandatory rookie camp, right? So, yeah, we might get to see our guys living their best lives. Like maybe Travis might get to take a honeymoon now. I don't know how much time they have, but it's a possibility. I know he got a house to buy. They got some things to do. I told y'all yesterday his mom is close by. So, his mom will probably be there with them. I'm really happy about that. His brother, school is out, regular school. It's June 5th. So his brother's probably out of school. So his brother probably like, I'm going to stay with my big bro and with the Jaguars down in Jacksonville. I love that. I absolutely love that because he's been away since Jackson State. So it's like the family's getting back together on a daily basis with mom and little bro, and the rest of the family. Less than 3 hours away. Savannah's not that far. Neither is Effingham County. And I don't know if y'all picked up on it. Travis said it was 5 of them. He said when Nick Saban accused Travis of being paid to flip to Jackson State or to go to Jackson State, Nick Saban was on a broadcast and said that he got paid. And Travis quit back now because my mama still live in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. I said that's why he was in the garage trying to convert the house, this, that, and the other. But anyway, so it's 5 of them. It's him, his little brother, and 3 kids, and his mom is married. They said so it must be like a blended family. And maybe with him being the oldest, he felt some kind of way, being in a garage or something like that. So the story's starting to come together. The story's starting to come together of why he felt like he did. So yeah, it's 5 of them. So I'm sure they'll all be down there in Jacksonville, and we'll probably hear more about it. On the screen is a story where you have, I told y'all earlier, they're using what I call old school digital media, meaning you had to, at one point, type in a www to get to this, like, www.si or Sporting News or this, that, and the other. So that's what I call the middle ground. And the reason why I believe the strategy is for the NFL to push out its stories and narrative rather than the people that we see every day is because of y'all. All the pushback that Cleveland been getting in the NFL about Shedeur, but Cleveland in particular, right? And to the point that Mary Cabot was like, wow, your fan base. And it's not just his fan base. It's people who are not happy with the situation. What did the voicemail caller guy say? I was with y'all at first, but this guy's nothing but a class act. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are starting to see what we've already seen about Shedeur, and a lot of people admit they bought into what they were told. That's not new. That happens all the time. And with a lot of people mimicking the same message for them, thinking it's a trusted source, they believed it. So I think the reason why they go in the digital, old school digital media with people who are typically in forums and chats, and honestly, because that's what it is. If you looking at one of them chats with one of those used to be popular type search engines that's not Google, that has like the banner with the news stories in it and all the different links and this, that, and the other, that's old school. But it's a lot of people having conversations in those forums. And a lot of them are negative. That's where they rally and get together. So this story, this snippet came from there, right? And it talked about Pro Football Talks Mike Florio. Now, I looked up a Mike Florio, and this must be a different one because the one I looked up was a realtor. So I was like, okay, maybe this is somebody else, because why is a realtor talking about, this? Not, you can talk about what you want to talk about, but why would you write this kind of story? It said, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk placed the blame on Shedeur for the way he conducted himself during meetings. Have we seen any evidence of that? Have we seen any evidence of that? And it says, with NFL teams like the Browns, the New York Giants, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Raiders never said anything about Shedeur negative. The Browns never said anything negative about Shedeur and met with him as late as CU Pro Day. The Giants, too, after CU Pro Day. And the Tennessee Titans. Notice the Titans not up there. The Pittsburgh Steelers not up there. Have y'all heard the Raiders say anything? Right? And why would he even have to do that with Tom Brady there? Because see, they tried to say initially he didn't want to go somewhere. So basically, he intentionally flunked the interviews that he didn't want to go to, right? So why you keep interviewing them then? And I'm talking about the Giants. See, all of this is pointing right back at the Giants. But these middle ground, old school digital platforms, these stories are the ones they sitting out and they get people all riled up. Because why? The people like us, the audience that can see for ourselves what's going on and that's truly paying attention, you're not going to get us riled up. Instead, they got a lot of pushback. So like on YouTube, IG, any platform and any medium that's currently popular, they got pushback. But they go to forums and platforms like Reddit and all of these old school search engines that allow you to comment. Like Yahoo Sports allows you to comment, but you got to sign in first. So you see exactly who's having issues. But this is the type of stuff they're putting out. It said Florio even went on to say, as far as claiming his sources told him Shedeur couldn't convince front offices he'd be willing to do the work. What? That don't even sound right, bro. I was thinking when after I read this, so you trying to say Shedeur could not convince an NFL team that he met with, one of these three up here, and it ain't the Raiders. I'm going to tell you that now. It's not the Raiders, and it's not the Browns, that he be willing to do the work. You see what I mean? By people putting out false narratives to harm his reputation and character, that's called defamation. Because that's why you did it. Do you have any proof of this? I don't care what you say somebody told you. At this point, you better show and prove who told you this. You better show and prove who told you this. And saying that Shedeur couldn't convince front offices he would be willing to do the work, as in staying late and showing up early like millions of people do every day to be their franchise's leader. Who believes it? Who believes that? Who believes Shedeur Sanders could not convince any NFL team, let alone these three up here, one of them of which is the Browns, who said what at the initial press conference? Oh, we know exactly who he is. Yeah, hard worker. Yeah, we know he's going to come in and work because we know who he is. We pre-draft him extensively. So it's not the Browns, so take them off the list. It ain't the Raiders. It's not the Raiders at all. That's not why Tom Brady did pick him, but they trying to elude that by throwing in the Raiders. Because the first thing people said was what? Well, if Tom Brady didn't get him, he must not be good. Oh, no, maybe it's just collusion and Tom Brady don't have a strong enough voice because he's just a limited partner and he got to do what everybody else want to do. There's supposed to be a source that went out after last night that said Shedeur Sanders is the best QB in the league and it's supposed to be an anonymous NFL owner. I was moving so fast last night, I didn't get a chance to really screenshot it, but if it's out there, it's out there and I'm going to find it. I could go right back to it. So understand this. When 32 people stand pat, one of them may have not wanted to, but I have absolutely no choice because we talked about it. They refer to the Giants as what? A foundational owner, meaning they were one of the originals. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not. And maybe because I can't do something in the draft because I have to collude with you, even though I don't want to maintain what I got going on here. Maybe, and that was the question I was asking, why Jacksonville? Because will they be able to do something that couldn't be done in the draft? Maybe. But first, they got to move that $275 million monster of a contract with Trevor Lawrence, and I don't see it. In fact, when I looked at that, and I know that Jacksonville is one of the fairly new teams, I was wondering, I wonder if they had a choice in picking him, or if they made him go there and locked him in till 2030 so they wouldn't even ever be good, because it's possible. It is very possible, because that's crazy, right? So somebody attached their name to this and did not even prove with any sorts of kind of evidence other than using their influence to say they had a source that they did not name, to say that Shedeur Sanders, who we have seen working out in Vegas off the clock with Cam Ward, in Miami with Cam Ward and Kyron from Virginia Tech, with select QBs that we saw working out during the Shrine Bowl before it started, because neither one of them participated, and you would have thought Shedeur was the only QB that didn't participate in the Shrine Bowl. I didn't see Cam Ward out there. Nobody said anything. They worked out at SMU. We saw Vegas. We know about Miami, and I saw Cam and Shedeur work out somewhere where it was hot because Shedeur asked for water, and that was before we got to Vegas. Shedeur always has a football in his hand. During the draft, did y'all notice Shedeur moving about with a football? When they didn't call his name, you know what he was out there doing? Throwing the football with somebody. He always has a football in his hand. So they're willing to go on the record, but they have no evidence, and they are weaponizing their influence with somebody's audience to make you believe this dude is a slacker. And you tell me that's not defamation, and you think he need a lawyer for a damn contract. He got bigger problems than that. And it really his problem, but the point is, it's more to be dealt with than something that can't be negotiated. So, this is the kind of stuff they're doing now, because they know they are stirring the pot against this young man with people who they want to buy tickets. Because they could put this on social media. Have you heard this on social media? Have you heard this on IG? Have you seen it on YouTube? Did you see anybody say it out of their mouth on any place where a camera was associated? No. So they're going the middle route, old school media. I want y'all to buy tickets. It's not us, it's him. Because the guy that called in on the voicemail was older. He's likely a part of that audience that they want to come to the games. And he's like, I was with y'all at first, but not now, because he a class act. And now they going the middle route. Old school digital media that most of y'all don't even see. And this is shameful. This is harmful, and it's shameful, and he needs to find some receipts and fast. And you can't fabricate receipts, because we know the Browns said, we know exactly who he is. Did they say they were surprised he was staying late? No. Did they say they were surprised that he was a sponge? No. They were surprised he was in town early, but we weren't. They were surprised he went out to a school, but we weren't. They were surprised Boog was somewhere around and didn't know who he was, but we weren't. So it's interesting to me that people try to craft a narrative to defame somebody and hurt them, their financial situation, and their career, but they don't know them at all, and they act like they invented them. They act like, again, after the picket was over for the day at Target, they was rolling by and saw Shedeur outside, and they made him. Like he didn't go to Jackson State or win 3 championships in high school, or overtime wasn't following him since he first learned how to drive, because that's where I came on board. They didn't even bother to watch any of that, do any background research or history, that before I put something out here like this, is there an interview by the GM and the head coach telling us they know exactly who Shedeur Sanders is. No. They lying and they lazy. So this guy better find some receipts, because this is defamatory. This is the same narrative that they were using in the draft. But before, it was Pittsburgh, it was Cleveland, it was the Giants in Tennessee. Tennessee had nothing to say. Tennessee had nothing. Like, we not over here. Don't look this way. They like, we busy. What did Mary Cabot say? And y'all know she don't have nothing good to say. Oh yeah. As soon as the voicemail caller ended, the host was like, yep, he's really likable. He sure is. He's always happy. And she was like, yeah, we don't have none of those kind of things happening with what they said. You see how they backing away? That's why this is coming out. And this is a bold-faced lie, because the Browns told us, and we saw them say it. Oh yeah, no, Shedeur's hard worker. Yeah, we know exactly what we get. We pre-draft him extensively. I was like, thank you. People, reporters even asked, why didn't y'all tell nobody? Why did you keep Dylan Gabriel a secret? They didn't answer that question. Then we got, who was in the middle? The Giants. Always going back to the Giants, isn't it? And they still got jobs. Let's see how long that lasts. And then we got the Raiders. Raiders didn't say nothing. They went with Cam Miller because that's what they wanted to do. I knew when the Raiders got Geno Smith, they were blocking Shedeur. I knew that's exactly what was happening. And if y'all didn't notice, they were deferring to Tom Brady all the way up until they got Pete Carroll. And the moment they got Pete Carroll, Tom Brady lost the voice. They said they brought in Tom Brady to be the consultant, if you will, the advisor, the grand wizard about what? Quarterbacks. And he was. And he liked Shedeur. And when they brought in Keith Carroll, I saw the play. At first, I was like, well, surely they must going to make Geno a backup, because who the hell is getting a starter for a 3rd round draft pick? Like that, that's like they didn't value him at all. And he said he expected to get paid big time, or he expected a pretty good contract from Vegas, and he got it. I mean, $34 million a year. What, for 2 years or 3 years? He hasn't hit $100 million yet, and maybe that contract might get him. It might get him there. I did the math. I forgot, so maybe. But the point is, I said when they paid him, he's the starter. When they hired Pete Carroll, I saw the play. I just thought Geno was going to be the backup. When I saw his contract, I knew he was a starter. And I'm like, they not getting Shedeur. And I told y'all, when they were looking at Matt Stafford, who was on this podcast, and heard me say, oh, I don't like that, because they were supposed to be getting Shedeur. And I feel like they cheating. They running out here secretly, because of Tom Brady got accused of meeting secretly trying to get next to Matt Stafford. And I knew the Giants said it because they wanted to get him. And they still had Russell waiting in the wings, who had already interviewed with the Browns and said, no, why did the Browns not get Russell Wilson? Can anybody tell me that? Because that was pretty much his first interview, when he was basically being pushed out of Pittsburgh. And the Browns was like, nope, why not? That's who you need. And look at who they have. And look at where they're trying to put Shedeur, behind everybody, off the depth chart. You don't need no damn agent for nothing like this. You need a lawyer. So essentially, this guy is going off the records and basically saying Shedeur is not willing to do what millions of people do every day. That's basically what he's saying. That's essentially what he's saying. It said Florio then blamed Shedeur Sanders' decision not to hire an agent. Wait, I have to wait for it to change. Not to hire an agent. So this is the guy that's going in what he needs to have an agent. And I said, the hell he does. He needs a lawyer and not for a contract. Understand, it wasn't easy for Clutch Sports to get into the agency business. Does anybody remember they were trying to change the rules when he came on and start representing like LeBron and this one and all the guys start going to Clutch Sports? Does anybody remember that? And they were like, no, you can't do it because you got to have a degree. And people were like, oh, they moving the goalposts now that Clutch Sports is gaining ground. Because they've been comfortable all this time. And they tell you need somebody that has connections. Well, if they don't like people like you, how you going to get the connection? They could use that. So, my whole thing is this guy is willing to go on the record to say that Shedeur, like millions of people do every day, show up, stay late, show early. He's not willing to do that. That's crazy. And they went to the middle ground with it because you're not going to see it. But the audience they want to target, their target demographic is who's going to see it. This is evil. Why you just don't come on YouTube and say it? Why you don't go on Fox Sports and say it? Why you don't go on ESPN and say it? So he's saying Shedeur decision not to have an agent basically fueled by wanting to keep as much of his money as possible. What? Who doesn't do that? Right? I just want to give you 4% of my $4 million contract. So you robbed him first. And because he want to keep his money, that's why you pushed him down, damn near out the draft. So was it because he was entitled or because he's fiscally smart? Which one is it? Because see, you see how this keeps happening? So he wanted to keep his money and you pushed him down in the draft. Oh, I thought you said it's because he's entitled. So, okay. So he's entitled and fiscally responsible and you want to push him down in the draft. Oh, he entitled, fiscally responsible, and he lazy. I mean, them two don't even go together. So I think I'm owed everything. So I want to save my money and I don't want to show up and do no work. That's what they saying he is. They have no evidence that he don't want to show up nowhere because he always showing up. People look at how Coach Prime runs Colorado. Is it new for Coach Prime to, if you come to practice and that door closed, you're not getting in here? Who was around when Coach Prime kicked Shiloh out of practice at Jackson State? Who was around and watching when they would take the golf cart to Jackson State practice? Coach Prime would be on the golf cart and the dudes would come zooming past him trying to beat him to practice because they know if you late, you're not getting in. So that is a lie. It is harmful. It's defamatory. And they have absolutely no proof. Saying somebody is entitled is purely subjective. Saying that he couldn't prove to make another team, convince another team of anything is purely subjective because I don't know whether they was convinced or not. What metrics do you have to prove that they was convinced or not? Because they told you, where is the evidence? Where is the video? And why is it's always coming back to the Giants? Because we know what the Browns said. What, they lying to? Maybe that's why Mary Cabot was like, yeah, no, we ain't see none of that. Yeah, we ain't see none of that. I'd push it away too. I sure would. I'd push the hell away. I'd be like, that's why Mike Tomlin was like, yeah, the intangibles were good. Yeah, I was impressed. In other words, his off the field, things that have nothing to do with his evaluation, which is why is you worried about that anyway? Because most times y'all just want to know if they can run and jump. You don't even want them to be quarterbacks. So that's why you doing all of this, because he's a quarterback. Because if he was a wide receiver, you wouldn't care because what's his name is back at work? Stephon Diggs. Y'all don't care about that. You don't care about that. So that's purely subjective to say he couldn't convince. It could have been them saying, I'm not convinced. That don't mean he showed anything untoward. That's subjective. So they pushed him down in the draft on purely subjective BS. The question is why? Why is Shedeur being targeted like this? That's the question. Why is Shedeur being targeted like this? Why does nobody else have these sorts of kind of things happen? Because they need to justify the collusion. And you can't. Not when Stephon Diggs is out here on the boat with that pink substance that looked like the one that Diddy had, that he on trial for right now. And he just right on back to work. You see how that worked? Deshaun Watson, $240 million contract. After what? 22 civil lawsuits. So maybe if Shedeur had some issues, maybe they think they'd be okay. I doubt it, because he's a quarterback. So this guy is willing to go on the record being defamatory once again, but this time not above ground. They slinking down in the middle where you can't see. But because I do research, I see it. And this is crazy because this is all purely subjective. This is like you running to somebody and saying, you know what I heard? I heard Shedeur don't even want to show up early. You got any evidence of that? And when people come to you and they talk like that and they do it a lot, you see them coming and you go the other way because you know they being messy. You know they gossiping, they being messy, they don't have no facts, they talking about a good person, they jealous of the good person, they trying to drag a good person down. That's exactly what we would say. This is no different, which is why they go on the middle route, old school digital media that you will not see. Because you're not going to type in www nothing, and you don't have your notifications that they don't even have, you haven't signed in to comment. This is where they go to rally, and I'm serious. Reddit too. This is where all of the people who don't have nothing to say above ground go to find like-minded people to rally. These are the dark corners of the internet. Nobody's typing in www to get to none of this. It's pushed out to you, and you can comment if you like-minded. If you're a good person, you just want to fight, and you in the mood to fight, you can go in there. But these are the people who started on the internet when chat rooms were a thing, because that's essentially what they are. They just look a little different. So in the end, Shedeur didn't have to pay an agent 3% of his contract. And he ended up with 100% of a pie. That's more like half of an uncooked Pop-Tart. They talking about his contract. What the hell is that kind of, what kind of talk is this? This is not professional. Who does he work for? Oh, let me guess. Is this his own platform? Like, meaning, and why? Why would any established outlet who calls itself being in the sports business and want people to subscribe or pay for subscriptions for something in print that people don't want to do no more, why would you go get him? Why would you go get this person? Because they know they got people out there that are fueled by this. This is stoking the fires. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. When Terry Bradshaw asked Chuck Noll for a trade after knowing that Joe Gilliam's car got vandalized, after knowing that Joe Gilliam got threats on his life, his family's life, they were going to cut off his appendage that men need for daily function. When he asked for a trade because he knew the people didn't want him, he was stoking the fires. Stoking the fires of what? Can anybody guess? Start with an R. Put it in the chat. So there's some people out here who y'all think are seemingly acting independent, who really and truly are the arm of the same people that colluded with Shedeur, trying to convince people that they want to come buy tickets, trying to come get their demographic audience, people that you can't see, who are in these little chat rooms, because that's really what they are, stoking the fires. Oh, we know it's people out here that don't want to see him as quarterback either. It's people out here that don't out here that don't want him to get that money. So I'm gonna throw in the part about the money and say he was just trying to save so he could keep the most of his money. Yeah, there's people gonna be upset about that, especially some of their target demographic, because we talked about it. What happened in 1934? A gentleman's agreement, collusion. First time on record that I can find. Oh, I'm sorry, before that, mind you, when they banned black quarterbacks, black players from becoming quarterbacks, collusion. Secondly, 1934. Remember anybody what I said happened in 1934? In 1934, the NFL banned all black players from the NFL. If you was in the NFL in 1934, if you was blessed enough to get there, and they wanted you to play because your athleticism, because that's really it, because they think you are lower cognitive functioning than white NFL players. So they brought you in for your athleticism. So if you made it to that point in 1934, they banned you because random white people who they don't know said it wasn't going to be a good look for white people not to have jobs and black people to be making money while white people don't have jobs. White people, they don't know. Do you understand that? Do you know how crazy that is? You're running a business. So what they're saying with that is, I'm worried about the perception of random white people that we don't know because they don't like black people in 1934 because of the hostility towards black people. So I'm going to go ahead on and accommodate random people that I can maybe get to come to the games and kick all the black people out. Their athleticism don't mean nothing to me if white people feelings is hurt. Who feelings hurt right now about 17 to 32? You probably gonna have to go in the middle ground in one of these chat rooms to find out whose feelings is hurt, because they're not gonna say it on modern social media. Capital R, there you go. So, he put his name on it. Florio then blamed Shedeur Sanders' decision not to hire an agent, perhaps fueled by wanting to keep as much of his money as possible on the grown QB. That sounds like Shedeur's nickname, getting his full pie, so to speak. Why would they use that language? Why would they say the grown QB getting his full pie, so to speak, but that full pie being an uncooked Pop-Tart? Because why? They pushed him down in the draft. So he's making light of that. And he's using language that either Coach Prime spoke, because if you think they know Shedeur Sanders' nickname is grown, think again. So are they using words that they know Coach Prime calls Shedeur grown? Because why would you say that? It don't even make sense for you to say that on the adult QBs getting his full pie. Is Coach Prime's word full pie? Because why is that in quotes? You see what I'm saying? This is not anything you will ever see on any modern platform. 17 to 32, because that's where we at. That's where we are. 17 to 32. So I'm going to look in the comments and see what y'all saying. It said, girl, I am loving your show and delivery. You're so fly. Thank you. And fun. Thank you so much, Political Lil. It said, Rodney Jefferson out DG. He is too short. Oh, Dylan Gabriel? Yeah. But you see, so that's obvious, right? Rodney is saying Dylan is short. He's not lying. We were talking about this at home yesterday because it was so obvious. Somebody filmed from behind the action. Like, you got all the quarterbacks, all the people standing to the side, and you got the quarterback, the guys lining up. It was a lineman that lined up in front of Dylan. I'm like, he can't see over and he can't see around the dude. They're big guys. And maybe at Oregon they were not. But when they drafted him in the third round, they already knew he was going to be fourth on the depth chart because I saw the depth chart. It's Deshaun with a Q, questionable. It's Kenny Pickett is actually 2. Joe Flacco is actually 3, and Dylan Gabriel is 4. So they didn't have high expectations. Who was on his platform when they heard me say, if you look at who they drafted, defensive tackle aside, because that's the running backs. I'm like, y'all already got running backs. So when Shedeur was practicing, they used what's called a 2 running back set. They had a running back on the left and a running back on the right. See, they got Dylan because they were just gonna hand off the ball. They a run heavy team. They're a run heavy team because they don't trust their quarterbacks. None of them. The ones that they get. They know Flacco is 40, so they were planning to still be a run heavy offense. This was somebody said, oh, they using the same offense they used to get them there at 23. I'm like, well, you must be right because they went and got Flacco, but he didn't get them there. He was handed a winning record. And he wasn't there when they critically needed him. He was on the practice squad where he came from, and now he on 3rd on the depth chart. So they said Kenny Pickett took most of the snaps. So you trying to set Kenny Pickett up as the starter? That's what you're doing? Because most people think he's the odd man out. But when you look at Dylan yesterday, knowing he got his balls batted down, even if you didn't know that, he got his football batted down. Honestly and truly, it was obvious. It was obvious that he's short. He the shortest one. And everybody else is tall. And because their helmets are orange, it sticks out. You see tall, a sea of tall. And who is this? He looked like a kid to them. And I know some of those guys are tall. Flacco's super tall. I didn't realize he was as tall as he is. He got to be 6'3", 6'4". Kenny Pickett got good height. Shedeur got good height. So to be honest with you, Kenny Pickett's performance makes him the odd man out. Dylan Gabriel's height, honestly. All they're going to use him to do is pass the ball off, which is why they got all these running backs. And that's what they're using to justify keeping him because they don't want to save face and admit they messed up. They passed how many times on Shedeur Sanders? And they were supposed to draft him number 2. That's already documented. Hey, Claudette, how you doing? Thank you, Political Lil. Thank you so much. Yes, I agree. Rodney DG is really an odd man out. Hey, Coach, how you doing, Jerry? It said, hey, how you doing, Crowley? It said likely. Jefferson said 1. It said he is the star QB. Oh, we know that. We know that. And if I say likely, I don't mean based on his talent. I mean the foolishness they got going on, the BS-ery that they got going on. Understand this. When the cuts came out today, and I knew he wasn't on it, because I knew yesterday, I was like, ain't no way they're cutting him after yesterday. They're already on the microscope. People are already going in on the Browns organization and the Browns media. The Browns media is catching hell. People are saying everybody likes Shedeur other than the Browns media. I'm like, damn. So, the truth is being told above ground, but the fight is happening in the middle ground. So if you're bored, go to somebody's website, start with a www and get there. Just maybe search for it, click on the link. But yeah. It says Snow is cute. Yes, he's so cute. So, every now and then I like to get the photos that I see. It says 17-32. Let me say it again for the people in the back. 17-32. If you start to see it, 17-32 up the chat. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Why is this one lone reporter out here trying to convince who? Why is he trying to stoke the fires by saying Shedeur want to keep his money? Why wouldn't he want to keep his money? You mad because he fiscally responsible? Using words and quotes that it sound like he got from somebody. The grown QB, because his nickname is grown. Yes, grown people should want to keep a lot of their own money. And then the closing part about instead of it being get his full pie, it's nothing but an uncooked Pop-Tart. They're making fun of where he landed in the draft and his contract. You see? But they wouldn't dare go on any network that you could see on any platform that's modern. By modern, Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, started in 2009. If YouTube was 2006, then the early 2000s. The early 2000s, they would not dare. They would get eaten up alive. So they crawling through the crevices to reach people that they want to reach, that they know would take joy in knowing Shedeur got robbed. It say after next week, mandatory camp, they will be out for almost 1 month. Okay, so when Jalen Milroe say he'll be back in Alabama doing his camps, then that's what they doing. So after mandatory camp for the veterans or whoever is going, okay, that makes sense because I found 3 teams with open practices. We're gonna focus on it tonight because I know it's others out there, but I just give y'all the heads up. The Titans and the Falcons have at least 2 joint practices that are open to the public. And this is somewhere around seemingly July, which probably fits in with what Charlotte said. Okay, well, what Charlotte said, the timing. So that's the Falcons, that's the Titans. And it said at training camp. I have no idea what that is, but maybe when we get closer, we can figure it out. But this is for people who kind of want to go to these public events. You don't have to be media. You can go. And I think it will be good to go. And if we get some boots on the ground, y'all let me know if y'all decide to go. Then we'll come back to you and find out what we can find out. And then we have Pittsburgh. They're going to have a few night practices, they said, but they open to the public. So we'll talk about that tonight because it's dates and other stuff like that. And then I knew Jacksonville had some, but it was another team. So we'll probably go into more detail tonight because I know it was 3 people right off the rip, but it could have been the Titans and the Falcons. So I try to put that together. So if people want to go, y'all can make it an outing and go. Yeah, give me some content. Or tell me what you saw or bring me some receipts. Because I think it will be fun. I think it will be fun. I would like to get y'all some t-shirts that say what she said sports, tribe, or whatever we are. I don't know who we are yet. We got to figure it out. Because that way when y'all go out and do stuff, y'all can wear them. And I just give them to y'all. But we not there yet. So feel free to support the channel so we can get there. Because we are definitely a community. We are definitely a community. And it'd be nice, to see that. It says Shedeur will be staying locked in so he can take this QB competition over. What competition, Rodney? Shedeur might be staying locked in though. I'm not surprised. Like he might be like, I'm staying because he's not even doing his podcast no more. I hadn't seen him twitch today or yesterday. So I know they starting to wrap up and move along. I'm sure. What is it? It's 4:00 Eastern. Cleveland is Eastern too, right? Cleveland is Eastern time zone. So I know they got to be finished with the OTAs for the day and everybody going their own way because last time they weren't doing anything on Friday either. So that should definitely be the case. Yeah, he has more siblings. Oh, you talking about Travis. Okay, K. Hayes. He has sisters. Oh, okay. I've never seen them. It would have been nice to see them, but okay. Thank you for that. It said we need to stay on Cleveland and the NFL stay on their heads. Right. And that's why they're quiet today. Because they don't want to go into the weekend with people standing on their heads. That's probably why we hadn't heard anything about OTAs today. Because they had OTAs today. They were closed. But normally they come back with something. So they want to try to get the conversation to die down while they send out the reporters on old school media to crawl through the crevices to put out defamatory information thinking we won't see it and calling it a lie. So yeah, 17-32. Thank you, Caleb. If you drop 17-32, that means you starting to see. It's not about Coach Prime. It's not about needing a lawyer to read a damn contract and enriching other people. This is not about Shedeur. He's not entitled. He's not a slacker. This is not about him not wanting to show up late, early, or any other lie they told on him. This is about 17 of 32. Cam Ward is 16. Shedeur Sanders is 17. And Milroe is 18. So when you hear us say 17-32, we're saying that Shedeur Sanders was colluded against in the draft because he would have been the number 17 black starting QB out of 32 NFL teams. And the NFL and Cleveland and anybody else, is playing keep away with the QB1 position, not because he's not good, but because he's an elite black QB1. And going number 2 with the Browns would have made him the majority of black starting quarterbacks. He would have tipped the scales to the majority. A group of people they have been publicly humiliating, defaming, discriminating against, ostracizing, trying to control into submission since at least I could go back to Joe Gilliam, which is 1972. Briscoe is next on the list after Cordell Stewart, because I said we would do Cordell Stewart, then we're going to do Briscoe. So 17 of 32. This is about keeping black QBs from the majority as the starters. Do you understand? If you are new to us, then you might not understand how pivotal that is for a group of people that have hurdles upon hurdles put in front of them. Some involving physical damages, some involving mental damages, some careers cut short, pushed off the wide receiver, or in our more modern times, sacked excessively after being pushed down in the draft. What we saw with Shedeur has happened to quarterbacks going back to Briscoe. Just a little bit I learned. And for these quarterbacks to make it in a big pool of 32 teams, they're only 25% the makeup overall of 32 teams. And that 25% to become the majority of the starters that you see on Sunday, which means every time you turn on a goddamn game, the quarterback gonna be black. That's why 17 to 32. And Shedeur was designated 17 because there was no story to fit with Miro or with Cam Ward. When 10 people get together to rob a bank, who gonna get blamed? Coach Pride. That's why we say 17 to 32. According to Bucky, I believe we can expect more videos from Shedeur in July. Good, because we miss seeing him. And see, understand, you see how they're not talking about how well he did. That should tell you why they didn't want him on social media. They trying to smother so we don't see him, so they can relegate him to preseason only, thinking they can quietly play the season with Shedeur Sanders on the bench. They a damn lie. That ain't happening. That Cleveland will burn down first. Any damn new stadium they want to get, gonna go with it. The mayor already said they don't care if Cleveland Browns leave the city, because I mean they're not good. You know who's entitled? The owners. You know why? Because they want new stadiums, but they're not even trying to get to the Super Bowl. Now that's entitled for you. That's entitled for you, and they got the behavior to match. They got proof for that. How the hell you want a new stadium? Have you ever won the Super Bowl in Cleveland? Yeah, okay. Talking about people are entitled. That's who's entitled. Hey, everybody, D. Johnson. It said Florio does a show with Chris Sims for the CBS Sports. And Chris Sims was the one who started that BS after the draft, because I talked about it on here. He was the one saying he was misguided. He should have had an agent. I was like, for what? For what? Because a $40 million contract that don't have no incentives and cannot be negotiated because that's what they came up with in 2021. What the hell I need an agent for? He can read. He can read. Travis probably gave the money to his wife because if I'm not mistaken, she read his contract. She say she his lawyer and she ain't even got a law degree. That means she's smart enough to read. Anybody is smart enough to read can read an NFL contract. You can go get with the guys from last year that had a damn lawyer look at it and say, okay, mine the same as yours. Because your money is set by where you get drafted. That's why all this pushing down and devaluing of black quarterbacks can happen. They know exactly how much you're going to make if I hold you back. Shedeur is being held back. He was held back in the draft, pushed all the way down, but the unexpected happened. And I told y'all earlier, it was two things I wanted to point out to you. We're going to say this and we're going to get out of here. I asked y'all earlier, what did Shedeur benefit from in the NFL draft, which is the reason why he was drafted. And then I asked you, what is the reason since Shedeur has been in Cleveland that what has he benefited from? which is actually benefiting him. And I told y'all it's the same thing. The unexpected. Shedeur benefited from the unexpected happening in the draft. And I'm not talking about the prank. I'm talking about 47 showing up and saying, "Are you stupid?" And then next thing you know, Cleveland hopping all over itself. And they was in so much of a rush and maybe couldn't get nobody else to do it that they had to take 2 picks in the 5th round and trade up in the damn same round to get somebody they passed over. How many times? Which is why Andrew Berry's face looked like he been set up because he realized it. And then in Cleveland, what is Shedeur benefiting from? That is also the unexpected. Us. Us. In the whole goddamn internet. Supporters, fans of other teams, standing on their heads in comment sections. All over the place. That's why they quiet today. Because they don't want to get started again. Because they don't want to go into the weekend with it. They know once they let it die down over the weekend, they think we're going to forget on Monday. We're going to be right back here tonight at 9:30. And then we're going to be back tomorrow at 12:30. And for the 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time huddle before we go into the weekend. And guess we're going to be back Monday morning after we do our nightly 9:30 show over the weekend. But we're going to be right back at it on Monday. See, they think you're going to forget. They're like, you know what? Let's just not say nothing right now. We need this to die down. That ain't happening. That ain't happening at all. But that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping you forget and move on to the next topic. We don't care about nothing else. We can take a moment and talk about somebody else. Just let them know we see you out here. Congratulations, Travis. You can play with him both sides of the ball in Madden. Now, what we were saying about Shedeur was 17-32. All right, so we're going to get out of here. That's it. The unexpected keeps happening. It happened in the draft to their dismay. It's happening in Cleveland to their dismay. We don't know what the unexpected look like. We don't know it's going to show up, but I know it's going to show up. So let's see what happens next. One thing about the unexpected, you don't never see it coming. So they can't control it. So we'll see y'all tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't know what the topic is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. So this was awesome. The Midday Huddle is highly successful. I thank y'all so much. Thank you for all the good comments. I appreciate y'all. So, you know, we're going to be here. We're going to be here tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight. It said, I'm just going to read the comments on the way out, but thank y'all for staying. It said, Shedeur football film shows his work. Right. They lied. And I hope it's thick. Show us the tape of the interview. They have tape versus the Giants. Right. They filmed all of those interviews. They filmed all of that. And you know, if he had done wrong, they would have put it out because they showed they didn't mind lying on him. So why you just don't go put out something that you have evidence of? Because just like this guy right here, who said somebody told him, and he threw the Browns and the Raiders in there for good measure, but he was talking about the damn Giants again. And again, why do they still have jobs? Shedeur put in extra QB work. Everybody knows that. Thank you, Reality Checks. It said they have tape of Jackson Dart interview with the Giants giving him the answers because that's who they wanted. And if y'all saw the 4-hour video when we were live that night, I was upset because I said, okay, I figured it out. I see what y'all doing. And I was upset. I'm like, you defamed him because you wanted Jackson Dart? You ain't have to do that. We knew you wasn't getting him no way because you have never had a black starting quarterback, which is why when they drafted Dart, does anybody remember what the hell the Giants said after they drafted Dart? Russell Wilson, the starter. Why the hell you put that out there? Isn't it Dart's moment? Oh, you trying to reassure us that this not about race. Don't worry about it, partner. It ain't nothing you can convince us of. You're going to need Jesus for that. So, you know, Shedeur put in extra work. Yep. It said the NFL isn't considering that Shedeur is one of God's sons. Right. And he has him. Yep, he does. The truth will be revealed and nothing will stop it. Exactly. Pete Carroll probably only has 2 years at most. Dude is out. People were like, why the hell did y'all hire him? Because they knew they could get him to block Shedeur. And why? He brought his own QB. If Geno Smith finally made it to a damn team where he could ball out and he did well, I think they had the same record as Minnesota. I'm like, why did you move Geno Smith? Oh, I'm sorry, to block Shedeur. Because they could have clearly left Sam Darnold right there with J.J. McCarthy, and they could have left what's his name? That need to be gone somewhere. Daniel Jones. They could have left him there too. They spread them out. They stacking the black QBs on the same team. So if a black QB get hurt, okay, they're not taking a white QB spot. Let them take another black QB spot. Right. But see, what's going to happen is the unexpected. Them guys going to work together. They're going to be close. They're going to look out for one another. And it's not going to be the punishment that they think it is. Bridget say, I remember it say, yeah, and Clutch Sports had to partner with CAA to keep control of his company, Degree Real Snakes. Oh, yeah, they got real dirty with them. They got real dirty with them. In fact, congratulations to Agent Nicole Lynn. She's now Sportswoman of the Year, I think. Y'all know she running, I think she's the director of football operations for Clutch Sports. Interesting story. And y'all can go if y'all got to go. Very interesting story. This ties into contracts. I had a podcast where I said these guys don't need contracts. I suggested, who remembers, that the guys coming out of CU do a workshop, get together, pool your resources, hire one lawyer to go over the damn contract. That way, if you have questions, you can answer them before the draft. And when you get your contract, you feel comfortable signing it because you know what it says. And you know when you get paid, you're not out here thinking you about to get $4 million all at once. You know what you're going to get, when you're going to get it, etc. All you didn't know was exactly how much you're going to get paid. But you learned in this workshop, hey, this contract is spread out over 4 years now. And your signing bonus is not in addition to your contract. So it's not $4 million plus $200,000. So that kind of stuff, because that's standard, right? That's just standard procedure and process. So I suggested they workshop it. And I was like, they don't need an agent. Then I saw Milroe hire Agent Nicole Lynn. And I was like, well, he might need one. I was like, but did it help? You see what I'm saying? And I said he might need one. Why? Because they weren't talking about him. And I was like, he probably going to go to the Saints because Kellen Moore just left Philadelphia and she also reps Jalen Hurts. So I was like, he familiar with her. So I'm thinking he going to end up in New Orleans. But then I saw that the GM in New Orleans wanted to keep Derek Carr. And I was like, forget them. And I just let it go. But did it help? Did him having her help him get drafted in the first round? He's first round talent. Michael Vick comp. Lamar Jackson comp. Runs a 4.37. First round talent. So instead of Shedeur and Milroe after Cam, supposed to be Shedeur and Milroe, they took who? 2 for 2. And they switched it right on up, starting with the melanin. 17 of 32. That's what it means every time you see it. So there you go. It said, them likes up. Yep, run the likes up. Thank you. Hit the like button. So y'all, if y'all going, that's cool because we just reading comments. It said the whole story proves that the NFL is rigged. Anytime teams come together to sabotage Shedeur, that means they are capable of coming together, refs included. Facts. And what did people say about Kansas City for the last few years? And they finally fired referees. Finally. After they lost. And the crazy thing, y'all remember that Kansas City Buffalo Bills game? Okay, I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was a particular place something happened. And it involved Taylor Swift's boyfriend. What's his name? Him and another person that played for the Bills. Something happened. The player from the Bills got fined in the game, like a penalty that affected the position of the ball for the Bills, right? Or the position of the ball for Kansas City. Either it's in Kansas City favor by a few yards or the Bills lose a few yards. Either way, depending on who had the ball. Why did a story come out around the Super Bowl saying that the NFL fined Taylor Swift's boyfriend X amount of dollars for what happened in the damn game, but he didn't get a penalty on his team like the Bills? You see that? You see that? Why they favor the Kansas City Chiefs like that? What is it about the Kansas City Chiefs? I've asked that question multiple times. It's right up there, but why the hell does Trevor Lawrence make $275 million to 2030 or 2031? you're not gonna ever be able to move him. So did they collude against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Cause what? What you gonna do with that? Who gonna take him? So, it's a lot happening here. The more we learn. See, when people show you what they're capable of, see, people like me, I start asking questions. Now, how did Deshaun Watson get that contract? Because how many lawsuits did he settle? There must have been some reason why y'all would give him that kind of money after that kind of misconduct. Maybe some other people was involved. I wonder. We shall see. See, that's what happened when you do wrong. See, when you do wrong, when you try to hold somebody down, all your shit blow up. All of it. And then the whole truth beyond Shedeur and what happened to him comes out. Now, what happened to Deshaun Watson? Now, why does he have this contract and he's not good? Why y'all really let Stephon Diggs come back after that? Do y'all not understand the implications of that? Why would you reward misconduct? Why would you give him back all the money that he paid out? Interesting, isn't it? That's what happens when you do like what they doing to Shedeur. And they think being quiet going into the weekend is going to make us forget about it and we're going to talk about something else. They can all talk about something else. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be right here. And I'm not the only one because my channel not that big. I said it yesterday. I said, do y'all have any idea of how many people talking about this all day long on every platform that exists? Yes. So just imagine probably about couple 100,000 of me. It said their economy is not getting bread. Yeah, that's crazy. Yes, Salafi, that's it. Absolutely, God's son. Watch Shedeur's countenance. He knows from where his help come from. He does. And he said it before the draft. He said they're trying to play God. And I don't know what they expected to happen with that prank. Like, and his reaction, he was like, what? What does that mean? They didn't get the reaction they wanted. They didn't get the reaction. I think they wanted him to cry. I think the guy clearly referred to him as grown QB, right? But you want him to act like a child and throw a tantrum. He ain't you. He's not you. He's exactly as advertised. Travis Kelce. Oh, that's his name. Thank you. Travis Kelce from the Chiefs. When I read that, I said, that's crazy. And another crazy thing, the same weekend in New Orleans, I don't know if y'all know I'm from New Orleans, right? I'm a NOLA girl. I used to, especially doing Super Bowl or Mardi Gras, I'm not there all the time. So what? I watch Earth Cam. I had never seen this before in my life. Earth Cam is global. You can go and watch people in Ireland and Dublin. You could go and watch birds in a nest somewhere in a damn desert if you want to. They got cameras everywhere, is the most part. It's a company, right? So they have cameras in New Orleans. They have two. Both of them are on Bourbon Street. One is facing the whole street. So you get a POV of people coming up Bourbon Street or walking down Bourbon Street. The other one is what they call street level. So there's balcony level and street level. During the Super Bowl, I don't know if y'all know, but it was reported that Taylor Swift called out her boyfriend and told him to stay off Bourbon Street. Well, Earth Cam turned the damn cameras off. So I guess we ain't have to worry about that. I was like, I have never in my life seen Earth Cam turn off their cameras. And right after the Super Bowl, they turned them right back on. I was like, well, damn. I guess if he go in Bourbon Street, she ain't gonna know and we ain't gonna know